Alright, Survivor fans, let's delve into episode 12. Now, just in case you're wondering, I didn't join the military. The girl who normally cuts my hair moved down south, so I have a new stylist. Needless to say, I'm looking for a new stylist. Fortunately, hair grows. If you don't believe me, look at the girl's armpits on Survivor. Now, before there ever was SurvivorTrev's Survivor Review, there was Survivor Thoughts by SurvivorTrev, which I posted on my Facebook page. Back then, I revealed that Semhar was a spoken turd artist, not a spoken word artist, and that the word hants was Samoan for weeping dwarf. Why is that important? Well, right now I'm dealing with a time crunch. The holidays are coming up, Christmas parties, birthdays, and I have several other projects other than SurvivorTrev's Survivor Review. So I'm gonna have to throw the format out the window. And I'm gonna go back to the old Survivor Thoughts format, which is a little bit faster paced. So let's start with Malcolm. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm disappointed in Malcolm. I expected a whole lot more out of that young man. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's likable, and he's in a good position in this game. But going into this season, he said he was going to play this game like Brian Heidick, and he has not delivered on that at all. In fact, Malcolm really isn't a Survivor mastermind, in any way, shape, or form. And his confessionals are kind of boring. If they ever decide to bring Malcolm back for another season of Survivor, it's not going to be because of his gameplay, or his entertainment value. Malcolm is sort of like the male version of Amanda Kimmel. Anyway, enough about that. Up next is the reward challenge. And this challenge involves the loved ones. Mike Scoopin's loved one is Mike Scoopin. I thought he was going to bring Eric. You know Eric? Ice cream scoopin' Eric? They're not related? But why do they have the same last name? Carter brings his mom. And she's jacked. I'd like to see her versus Denise in anything physical. Well, not anything physical. Denise is reunited with her husband Brad, and Brad is reunited with the son. Abi Maria brings her mom, or a lime. I probably would need a Corona to tell for sure. Lisa's loved one is her brother Justice. Thanks, Mom and Dad. No pressure at all with that name. Malcolm brings his goofy brother Miles. And Miles says that Malcolm looks like a colonel from a ship in the 1700s. I could kind of see that. Except, I'd say he looks more like a musketeer. Like the fourth musketeer. Because I don't really see him making it to the final three. So Malcolm and his goofy sibling win the challenge, and they go back to camp. But part of the reward is allowing two other survivors to bring their loved ones back too. So Malcolm chooses Mike Scoopin and Lisa. And Lisa and Mike are very thankful for this. And they want to repay Malcolm by voting him out at the next tribal council. And I gotta say, it's a good idea. I would have done it a couple of weeks ago, but still a good idea. So up next is the immunity challenge. And in this challenge, you have to erect a pole that's long enough and strong enough. As it turns out, Mike Scoopin, not long enough. Jeff Probst says it'd be so nice to have that necklace. I hope he's talking about the immunity necklace. But when it's all said and done, we find out that Malcolm is long enough and strong enough to win the challenge. So, ladies, take note. So Lisa and Mike Scoopin's plan is out the window. They can't vote out Malcolm. And Lisa interprets this as God's intervention. Apparently God doesn't value perseverance. He likes it when you fold up your tent at the first sign of adversity. Good to know. So the two survivors on the hot seat are Abi Maria and Carter. So Carter gets wind of this, and that kid's gonna fight to stay in this game. He's like,
come on, guys. I deserve to be in this game still. Alright, that's all I got. See you back at camp. La-di-da!
So let's see if that compelling argument can save Carter. So at Tribal Council, Carter says he doesn't understand why he's on the hot seat. Especially when there's been all this talk about bringing the deserving people to the end of this game over people you can beat. Well, Carter, let me see if I can explain this to you. So, as I mentioned before, Lisa interpreted all of this as God protecting Malcolm. I don't see it that way. I think God just wanted to smite Carter. So Carter goes off to Ponderosa, and over there he's really having a hard time. He can't get over the fact that he made it 33 days into this game, and he only had 6 more days to go to win it. Carter, don't beat yourself up. You're like a woman in the 1950s. Sure, you could work for the company, but there's no way you were going to run the company. There was a glass ceiling on your game. There's no way you were going to win. Unless, of course, you started your own company. But that would require a better strategy than,
Come on, guys, keep me in the game.
back in September, we started this whole thing off with Scene Bean. But now it's time for episode 13. And now we're getting down to the real deal. No more bull on Survivor. No, literally, because Kalabaw means bull in Filipino, and they're all gone. So Abi Maria is scrambling. She knows that Malcolm is safe no matter what at the end of this episode, because he still has his hidden immunity idol. And she also knows that Malcolm, Denise, Lisa, and Mike Skupin have a solid foursome alliance. So if she wants to stay alive in this game, she has to make some moves. So she starts working on Lisa.
Lisa, be very careful. Denise, Skupins, and the Malcolm are so in an alliance together. Cannot you see? You are so on the bottom. You know, Lisa, I always have your best interest at heart. The Denise, she must go.
So up next is the reward challenge, which Mike Skupin wins. So he takes Malcolm and Lisa on reward with him, which makes Abi Maria feel left out.
Cannot I see why the Skupins did not pick me to go on reward? This makes me very sad. Skupins, cannot you see? When I treat you like the poop, it really means I like you. This is the way in Brazil.
So Mike, Lisa, and Malcolm go on their whale shark watching reward. And while they're there, Malcolm hatches a plan to get rid of Denise before the final 3. Now, Abi Maria and Denise are left out of this reward, so they go back to camp and forge a lifelong friendship. Oh wait, no, Abi Maria poisons Denise. Apparently, Abi Maria took the most venomous spider she could find on the island, and she put it on Denise's neck. Now, it is possible that this whole thing could backfire. It could be a radioactive spider, which, as everybody knows, would give Denise superpowers. I guess we'll find out if this is the case at the immunity challenge. So Mike Skupin, Lisa, and Malcolm return back to camp, and Lisa performs a faith healing on Denise. Which, by the way, is pretty dangerous. A lot of people die every day from faith healings. But Denise pulls through, and then it's time for the immunity challenge, which Malcolm wins. So I guess it wasn't a radioactive spider. So since the poisoning didn't work, Abi Maria has to get Mike Skupin and Lisa to vote Denise out. So then it's time for tribal council. So it appears that Lisa is on board to vote with Abi Maria and get rid of Denise. But Lisa's not going to vote out Denise without Mike doing the same. So Abi Maria turns up the charm with Mike Skupin.
Mike Skupins, you're an idiot. This is why you will not win $1 million. Mike, do you know what rhymes with Skupin? Stupid. Kind of. You are a moron. In fact, I will refer to you from this moment forth as Moron Stupin. How do you like that? Now vote to keep me in this game.
Unfortunately for Abi Maria, her charm doesn't work on Mike Skupin. So before we check in on Twitter, let's check in on Ponderosa. Yup, RC, still annoying. So let's check with the survivors and see what they had to say on Twitter. My boy Matt Quinlan tweets, "Catch up and or laugh." And then he retweets the link to last week's show. Thanks, Matt. It's really good to hear from you again. It was this time last season that you gave me the pinnacle of my Survivor fandom by inviting me to the Survivor finale. Now, if anybody's in the San Francisco area and you've been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault, you're going to want to go to the law offices of Matthew J. Quinlan, because Matt will go to bat for you. He'll go after that rat and make your wallet fat. Artist tweets, "What's up, Trev? It's just as much fun watching your reviews as it was playing the game. F 'em if they can't take a joke. Ha 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 ha! First of all, that's high praise, artists. Thank you. Second of all, I'll take your word for it. But hopefully one day I'll be able to play Survivor and judge for myself." Sugar tweets, "There are no days off in Survivor. Except me. PTSD is real." That was cool. That's the first time I ever heard from Sugar. The specialist, Philip Shepard, retweeted the link to last week's show. Thanks again, Philip. Also, Christina Cha retweeted the link to last week's show. Thanks again, Christina. And if you guys want to catch up with Christina Cha, check her out on AfterBuzzTV.com. So that's it for this week. What's that? Abi Maria retweeted the link to last week's show? Now that is the greatest thing ever. You know what's on top of my Christmas list? To hear Abi Maria actually say,
Cannot you see?
Or,
Knock it out of my face!
So that's it for this week. What you need to do is hit the subscribe button down here. You need to follow me on Twitter, Tout, and Facebook at SurvivorTrev. Now normally, this show is all about nonsense and having a good time. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the tragedy that happened in Newtown, Connecticut. I personally know Newtown very well. I used to swim at Treadwell Park, where they had some of the news conferences after this tragedy. I've gone ghost hunting at the disused Fairfield Hills Mental Hospital, and I've spent many a night at the Newtown Diner after a night of bartending. It's a beautiful little town and a nice community of people, and my heart goes out to them. Now, if you've been following any of the coverage, you've seen Lieutenant Paul Vance do some of the press conferences. And he's actually a Survivor fan. He was at the first ever casting call I went to. He was actually going to audition for the show, but he backed out at the last minute. Anyway, my heart goes out to the people of Newtown, Connecticut, especially the ones that were directly affected by this tragedy. And I'm going to keep them in my thoughts.